Sony revealed which games will be added to the PS Plus Extra and Deluxe catalog on June 18th. The first new game in the catalog, which can be played from June 18th, will be Far Cry 4. The action of the fourth part is set in the fictional region of the Himalayas, Kyrat. The protagonist will have to help the local resistance organization Golden Path to wage a civil war and overthrow the dictator Pagan Min. Everything you love or hate about the Far Cry series is here, so whether to play it or not, you've already decided. By the way, the game has been on Extra before. Crusader Kings III will also be added to the catalog. This is a global strategy in real time, where players will have to manage a royal dynasty for 5 centuries, capture new territories through diplomacy and political marriages, as well as fight with other states for resources and territory. This strategy was highly appreciated by both critics and the media. So if you dreamed of something similar on the console, it is worth a try. The next game that will replenish the subscription Extra is called After Us. In the role of the life spirit Gaia, the player will have to travel through the post-human world to save the souls of extinct animals and return them to the Mother Ark. In addition to traveling through devastated landscapes that depict the destructive relationship between humans and nature, Gaia will have to contend with dangerous oil-covered eaters that roam the wasteland in search of the remaining life. The fourth new game of the subscription was Anno 1800, one or no strategy game, then 2 at a time on the subscription. The game is a city-building and economic simulator with elements of real-time strategy, the action of which is set in the early 19th century. Players will be able to choose their path to victory: economic relations, peaceful resolution of conflict situations, or military action. 5 in June, PS Plus Extra will add Police Simulator, patrol officers to the PS Plus Extra catalog. The game is set in the fictional American city of Brighton. The protagonist is a patrol officer and must respond to calls to gain experience points. And if you behave unlawfully and break the law, you will lose these points on the contrary. In general, an interesting simulator, especially for those who caught fire after the series Rookie. The next game that will replenish the subscription Extra is called Monster Hunter Rise. In this game, you need to become a hunter of monsters. In Monster Hunter Rise, there are a lot of monsters, each of which has a unique appearance and characteristics. There are 14 different weapons available for players to hunt. They will allow you to make your character a master of close combat or long range. Whichever way the player chooses, he will have to try hard to win, and a long time to farm resources. Immediately, 2 LEGO games will hit the catalog Extra June 18th. These are LEGO The Hobbit and LEGO The Incredibles. In the first one, you need to go on a dangerous adventure back and forth in the person of the Hobbit, Frodo, and the dwarves. All would be good, except that the game does not tell about the whole adventure and ends at the most interesting place. As for the second game, it is based on the 2 parts of the cartoon and allows you to play as the heroes of the Super Family, each with their own unique abilities and skills. Also added to the extras will be Football Manager 2024, Monster Energy Supercross, the official Videogame 6, Deluxe and Premium subscribers will also get access to LEGO Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, which shows the events of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Star Wars episodes, the action and horror game Ghosthunter, 3D third-person platformer, Daxter, Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, the definitive edition. This is a remaster in which changed the graphics, added various effects, and reworked the sounds. However, the game itself, its gameplay, missions, story, characters, and everything else remained untouched. So this remaster should come to the liking of both olds that played the original and young people who are unfamiliar with the game. Dredge. The player assumes the role of a fishing boat captain and explores a mystical archipelago and the surrounding water depths. The harvested fish can be sold to the locals, and quests can be completed to learn more about the past of this dark place. Players will be able to upgrade their ship with new equipment and explore more and more distant lands. But be careful, as there are creepy monsters at night. LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. The events of the game begin 4 years after the events of the first part. Kang the Conqueror travels through different timelines and realities, conquers and kidnaps his most favorite cities, and then unites them into one place, Chronopolis. Through this, various superheroes come together to thwart the threat of Kang the Conqueror, who plans to take over the entire universe. The game will allow the player to control hundreds of characters from the Marvel universe, both from comics and movies, and the characters will be from different time periods and realities, such as Noir Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man 2099, Hulk and Thor from the movie Thor, Ragnarok, etc. Cricket 24. It is a sports cricket simulator. So if you have been dreaming of finally breaking into the sport, your dream will come true. This cricket game features teams from every corner of the planet. Players will be able to compete against some of the most serious national teams, including West Indies, New Zealand, Ireland, Australia, and England. The game can be played solo in career mode or online against other players. On June 6th, owners of PSVR 2 helmets and deluxe or premium subscriptions will be able to play 5 games. Ghostbusters. Rise of the Ghost Lord offers to become a ghost hunter and team up with other players to clear New York and San Francisco of the abnormal threat, as well as defeat the main villain, Garaksa. After each mission, players will receive currency with the help of which they can pump and improve their equipment, as well as buy new ones. The next game that can be played on PSVR 2 is called The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners, Chapters 1 and 2. This is a full-fledged story adventure based on the Walking Dead universe, where the player must survive on the zombie-infested streets of New Orleans. To do so, you must explore the city and obtain resources to craft and destroy zombies. You can also meet other survivors there, who can ask to fulfill their request for a reward. However, it is up to the player to help them or not. Also in the helmet, you will be able to play Synth Riders. In this rhythm game, you have to hit objects with moves to the music and perform other movements to score points. The game is very sweaty, and if you have a bad physical shape here, you cannot even sit down, although it is worth admitting that it is fun to play, at least until your lungs start to burn with fire. In Before Your Eyes, players will learn the story of the recently deceased Benjamin Bryn. The journey begins on a boat amidst the dark sea, steered by the ferryman and taken to the gatekeeper for judgment. The protagonist is sent into his memories from his earliest childhood to prove that he is worthy of going to heaven, but every time the player blinks, there is a jump forward to a later memory. Blinking is the only way to interact with the game, which on the one hand is very cool and unusual, but on the other hand can be quite stressful. The 5th game that can be played on PSVR 2 is Walkabout Mini Golf. This is a simulator of mini golf with quite realistic physics. And we must say that playing golf in VR is absolutely not the same as on a gamepad, and the level of realism and passion for the game is much higher. Also on June 11th, deluxe and premium subscribers will be able to play 3 projects from PS2. Action adventure about Lara Croft Tomb Raider legend, where she travels the world in search of an ancient artifact. Action on the Star Wars universe, Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and 3D platformer Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. And now I'll tell you about the games that will leave the subscription on June 18th. The first game leaving the subscription in June is Grand Theft Auto V. I remember when GTA 5 was added to the subscription 6 months ago, people were divided into 2 camps. Some of them scolded Sony for adding such an old game that everyone had already passed long ago. Others were very happy to finally be able to go through the story campaign and play with friends online. I'm sure GTA 5 leaving subscription will do the same. Some will say we haven't lost anything, while others will say Sony are bastards, and subscription is getting worse and worse. Whatever the case, the game is iconic and still very popular, so if you haven't played it yet, definitely give it a try. You probably won't get it, but at least you won't waste your money checking it out. By the way, RDR2 is also unlikely to stay in the subscription for long, so you'd better start playing it now. Also leaving the subscription is SpongeBob SquarePants: Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. This is a remake of the 2003 game with improved graphics, multiplayer, and cut content. In the story, Plankton, once again trying to steal the secret recipe for Krabs Burger, creates a machine called Duplicatatron 3000, which allows him to create a large army of robots that throw Plankton out of Chumbucket and wreak havoc in all of Bikini Bottom. The game looks very colorful and will appeal to kids, Yellow Sponge fans, and fans of 3D platformers. You will be able to play not only as Bob, but also as his friends Patrick and Sandy. On June 18th, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons will leave the subscription. The plot tells the story of 2 brothers whose mother died and their father is sick. The only way to cure him is to bring water from the Tree of Life. The brothers go on a long journey where they will face many dangers in the form of evil creatures, help friendly creatures, and solve puzzles. Although the toy is old, it can still delight and stir the soul. The Talos Principle Deluxe Edition will be leaving the PS Plus Extra catalog in June. It's a great puzzle game that will keep you busy for several evenings. And the puzzles here are not what we are offered in all modern adventure games. Here you can easily hang for an hour, trying to solve the puzzle. All in all, I recommend giving it a try. The 5th game leaving the subscription was Unturned. It is a zombie-themed sandbox game where you have to survive by defending yourself against zombies and hostile survivors in multiplayer mode. The player starts practically naked, and all loot must be mined in the game world, searching for food, weapons, medicine, transportation, building houses, and destroying other players. Present in Unturned and Pumping System, which is expressed in the form of some skills that can be developed. Also leaves the subscription Indivisible. The game combines platformer and Metroidvania, battles that take place half in real time and half in turn-based mode, and the story, which is presented on the principle of visual novel. In the story, a girl named Anna lives in a village with her father, who teaches her martial arts. The village is suddenly attacked, and her father is killed in front of Ina's eyes. And then the girl discovers that she is able to suck people into her subconscious and thus accidentally imprisons her father's murderer there. And Ina's inner world is material and can be traveled into it to talk to her co-parties. The Wild at Heart will leave the subscription on June 18th. The Wild at Heart will be played as two children, Wake and Kirby, who decide to run away from home because of family problems. While wandering through the forest, Wake loses sight of Kirby, but finds a guardian who informs him that the forest has been struck by a curse, and he needs to find his girlfriend, find the other guardians, and save the forest. To do this, players will have to explore and open new locations during the day, collect resources, craft items, communicate with bizarre creatures, and perform story and side quests. At night, however, the world is visited by scary monsters, Never, who steal memories and feed on emotions. Because of this, the locals even began to forget their names. Therefore, when darkness falls, it is necessary to return to the camp as soon as possible to avoid meeting with Never. The game also has a very nice art style that personally beckons me to launch it and play it. Also leaving the subscription in June will be 3 racing games: MotoGP 23, Monster Jam Steel Titans in Baja, Edge of Control HD, Sports Simulator Dodgeball Academia, and arcade action DC League of Super Pets, The Adventures of Crypto and Ace.